Jim Waters is with the Bluegrass Policy Institute, and I know that school choice is a big issue for you guys, and that I believe Milton and Rose Friedman Foundation has supported this cause across the country. And if you had anything to tell us about what your group's been doing, I think it's part of the solution of trying to change things for Kentucky.
Yeah, you know, we were really grateful for the Friedman Foundation, sent several people from this community up to actually see charter schools in action in Milwaukee and Philadelphia. And when they came back, I was really interested in what I said, you know, what did you find out? And you know what they said, this goes right to what we're talking about. They said, we found out something, okay? And I was expecting, I don't know, something big and grand, and it was in a big way, but they said, we found out the poor black kids can learn. They can learn. And the very first page of the Kentucky Education Reform Act, passed in 1990, said, we believe that all children can learn at the highest level. We have stated we believe that in Kentucky, but by not allowing the innovation and the choice, I think we've shot our own self in the foot, if I can use that term. Interesting on the poverty note, 54% of students in charter schools across the country are eligible for free and reduced lunch programs. And we know that we have a lot of good public schools, and I've been impressed with a lot of them I've seen here, but we also know that not only do we have failing schools, but those failing schools disproportionately affect low-income and minority children. We know that from the evidence. So I'm very excited about what's happening here, and because, most of all, because I think the kids that tend to get left behind and maybe have a single parent, you know, I've stood in living rooms here and sat in living rooms and talked with single mothers, you know, with tears streaming down their eyes, who said, I know my child isn't getting a good education, but I'm working 2 or 3 minimum wage jobs just to put food on the table and keep the lights on. And so my question is, how do we break that cycle? It's a rhetorical question. How do we break that cycle of poverty if we don't provide an excellent education? And the other question that I would like to hear a little bit about today is Kentucky's, we're not so much a conservative liberal state as we are a rural urban state. And I know that there is growing support for charter schools in urban areas, but one of the challenges that we've had in working on this issue is from rural legislators who really don't understand the importance of this, and it's going to take some of their votes to get a bill passed. So that was my question. But I wanted to just congratulate everyone today, and Elliot, that was great. There are lots of success stories out there about charter schools. The more I find out, and the longer charter schools go, you know, the research shows, I think overwhelmingly, that once a child has been in a charter school for 3 years, if they were in a failing situation, not only have they caught up, but they've actually surpassed the performance of many of their peers in traditional public schools. One final thing, I was really impressed in the Bronx with what the KIPP Academy did in the Bronx. You know, several years ago, they started a school, and they were just given sort of a leftover area up above another traditional public school. It's actually above, I think in the same building. They were the kids from the same neighborhoods, same socioeconomic backgrounds. They were all walking past the same drug dealers, the same building in the same school. And yet the kids in that school, they didn't have a Taj Mahal facility. They didn't have a lot of the extracurricular activities maybe that we've seen and that I think are good. But even in that situation, great teachers, a great school, great innovation, and those kids were outperforming their peers coming from the same neighborhood. So I think it's, and I like the question that was asked, if you're not for this, then what is your idea? What is the idea that's been proven across the country that has succeeded in some respects and many respects? So I'm very excited about this, and I hope this will give us a lot of momentum.